High Price Team, Adam Ruff here again with this week's edition of the Stop Waste videos. Um, it's cool seeing the progression of these videos and seeing people give more specific examples of how they eliminate waste on their job sites. Those are cool to see to help the rest of the team out. So enjoy those this week. And then also, we'll be down in Florida next week, hopefully getting a bunch of videos of those guys, how they eliminate waste on their job sites and share those with the team. So be looking out for those in the next couple weeks. Just remember, good communication and planning eliminates a lot of these wastes. So try to implement that on your job site or in your daily habits each day. Also got my pink shirt on for Pink Shirt Fridays. So if you guys don't have any pink shirts, make sure you're requesting to get some and continue the tradition of the Pink Shirt Friday deal. So here's this week's edition. Enjoy. Go ahead.
For my lean idea, I think that instead of spending a certain amount of dollars on small monetary items like, let's say, a battery or a $60 or $70, honestly, less than $100 item, instead of asking a bunch of employees to go look for it, to waste their time, to waste their thoughts, their processes, their attention span, just go ahead and just buy a new one. It's a monetary wash. Some other point, that ladder will turn up, get re-inventoried, go through the system to get back at job sites. The battery goes missing. Again, it's just a wash instead of wasting time to lose that money forever, to lose that time forever. Just buy a new battery.
All right, guys, here again with another, I guess, lean video. One thing I ran into here recently, which this goes back to communication, honestly. I had somebody order some wire for me. Showed up the next day. Our phase rolls were there. We were all ready to go. However, once we started pulling, or before we started pulling, I realized that we had no neutrals coming from our transformer to our CT cabinet. So that created me having to get a hold of the supply house, waiting for the wire cuts, going to get the wire cuts, and then coming back to pull it, which wasn't on a phase rail, so it obviously wasn't even efficient as it could have been. Ultimately, I sent the information to somebody else. Maybe I wasn't 100% specific on what I needed, but ultimately, I feel like if you cut the middleman out, you handle it yourself, you know what you need, all is well at the end.
All right, so an example where we are not doing well, or we have a solution to a problem with lean construction is in overhead work, lift work especially. I'm sure everyone has had times where they're crawling over material on lifts. They forget something, they have to jump out of the lift or a ladder even. And the way that I like to fix this is I call them ladder buddies. They're essentially little cubbies that you put on the outside of the lifts where you can organize, have all the material you need, gets boxes of couplings, connectors, all those little pieces off the ground. It makes it more safe to work on lifts. It makes it more organized, and you're less likely to forget something when you know this piece needs to be in this cubby, this piece needs to be in this cubby, stuff like that.
All right, so the best thing about this project that I've noticed so far is the general having like a pull schedule that is for the whole entire job, and they're doing all of our excavating for us, so it's good for me to plan ahead of when they're going to dig a certain trench for me, and like planning on what kind of pipe I need, manpower, anything that goes along with that underground. It's one thing that's nice. We talk about it at least once, maybe twice a day, depending on if there are changes or anything, and I work a lot hand in hand with the general as far as if anything changes, he'll give me a call, and then we can come back and go over what changes in the throughout the day. So
yeah, perfect.
Being lean to me is just having all the pipes prepared and ready to be pulled for feeder wires. So have a jet line in them right away, a bull rope right after they're installed, so we don't have to fight the water coming out of the PVC. Also, making sure there's a gap on these, PVCs, so we can get bushings on them. Just being extra careful when you're installing them. I think that's pretty good right there, being lean.
Yeah.
Okay, so the waste I was thinking about, or for being lean, is planning. That way, it will help eliminate, retrips or rework or, buying expensive material that we could have gotten better pricing on had we planned ahead. So yeah, plan ahead.
All right. The way we eliminate waste here in Centerville is we'll take 5 minutes before we start a project and we'll go over our pipe run and make sure we understand what we're doing and the overall objective, so we're not asking questions later on, and we can get all the material we need over there and ready to go.
Hi, Eric Rana here with the prefab department, and lean construction to us is one of the most important aspects of our job, as we do not actually make money, but our goal is to save money for jobs in the field. So lean to us means using the most efficient processes for everything we do and getting everything lined out and set up ahead of time so everything happens as smoothly and quickly as possible. Most of our builds, we collect as much data as possible so we can estimate the time and costs of everything that we do for jobs and effectively manage our time and try and keep everything under budget.
Yeah, when I think about lean and waste, the one thing that I think a lot about is the waste of time. We try to remember things in our heads. We run and get it and get back and find out we forgot something. If we would just carry a little notepad and write those things down, we could save a lot of time in a week.
So I think the best way that I found on this job site to eliminate waste is we have contractor meetings with all the foremen around here, because there is like at least 15 contractors on site, and they use something called a storyboard, which I really found out I liked. And so I replicated it to our guys and worked it with our teams, and a 2-week look ahead to kind of know what everybody's doing that and putting it out here in the open where everybody can see it. Yeah. And everybody can talk about it and communicate with it and know what they're doing, so they're not really confused about it. Yeah. And we can just talk about it, because when you have 5 different sections on a job, it gets a little bit of a handful. Yeah. So I think it made it a lot easier to eliminate, waiting and everything on the job site.
So a couple things we're doing here in prefab to help eliminate waste is working with our customers, the foremen, the PMs, getting feedback on how builds are working, if there's issues with the builds. That way we're not sending them something to install that's actually more cumbersome than it should be to install. Another thing we've done here in prefab is we've rerouted how we're setting up our tooling in the shop. That way steel and framework comes in this direction, gets built here. Conduit's got its own flow over here. That then brings it back to, again, the same build area. So those are just a couple things we've done with the prefab department to help eliminate our waste.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of the Stop Waste videos. I appreciate everybody's participation in these, and it's been fun for a lot of people. It's been fun for me. It's good to see the more specific examples. Those help the whole team learn and, get better. So hopefully we can continue on that, building these up and, getting the more specific examples to help the team grow. Last part here, just want to continue on Eric Huber's email to follow up on. The 8 Waste is a great tool to use to try to identify waste. So please read the email, watch the video, ask questions of Eric, myself, and other leaders who know about this lean stuff. But otherwise, have a great weekend. And, remember, you can send videos to me if you got videos that you're making. But otherwise, I'll come out and continue to create content for you guys. But, have a great weekend and enjoy.